Hello baseball fans, this is Anthony with BBSN from Busch Stadium and Game 21 or Start 21 of the 1969 Fergie Jenkins Payoff pitch replay. And for the second outing in a row, Fergie and the Cubs take on Bob Gibson and the Cardinals. And in the last game out, Gibson did not live up to his end of the bargain of an expected pitcher's duel, and actually Fergie didn't have the best of outings either. So they will hook it up again and see if we can create a classic. The lineups for today's game for the visiting Cubbies: Kessinger, Becker, Sweet Swinging Billy Williams, Ron Santo, Willie Smith in at first base for Mr. Cubby, Ernie Banks in this one, Al Spanky Spangler in right, Randy Hundley behind the dish, Jim Qualls in center, and of course Fergie on the mound. For the home-standing Redbirds, Lou Brock leads off in left, followed by Curt Flood, Vada Pinson, Joe Torre, Tim McCarver behind the plate, Mike Shannon at the hot corner, Julian Javier gets a start at second, Dal Maxville at short, and Gibby on the mound. So let's get right to it. Play ball. Kessinger steps in, Gibby prepared to deliver. And 6, going to be tough. 7, swing and miss, struck him out to start the game. And Gibby comes out firing as Don Kessinger. Blown away by the high heat. Gibby, a competitor, did not like his last performance against the Cubs. And tough again, 67. This is going to be a fly out to center field, 2 down. Sweet Swinging Billy Williams steps in, looking to get the Cubbies on the base paths here early in the game. And the pitch, that's going to be patient, 76. Going to be out of range, and that will be a fly out to center field as well. So Flood comes in, puts that away. Cubbies go down in order in the top of the first, and Cardinals coming up. Fergie toes the rubber, gets set to face Lou Brock. Here comes the pitch. And 9, they're going to be tough. Brock is going to ground that down to second base. Beckered up with it over to Willie Smith. So he used to saying Ernie Banks. It's the first game of the replay that Banks has not started at first for the Cubbies. Curt Flood up. And 4, that's going to be a ballpark check. And Busch Stadium versus a right-handed pitcher, that's going to be in the in-play range. And Flood, 44, and that'll be a pop out to shortstop. So 2 down as Kessinger puts that away. Next up, Vada Pinson. And the left-hander digs in. Fergie pitches, tough, 38. And he gets that actually into foul tip and into the catcher's mitt. No, my bad. 38 is a single. So that foul tip was dropped, gave Pinson another chance, and he promptly drove Fergie's next offering back up the middle. He's not going to try and steal. Joe Torre steps in. 10 is going to be in play, and that's going to be a ground ball down to first base. Willie Smith picks that up, takes it himself. And the Cardinals are retired. 1 hit, no runs, no errors, and 1 left. We head to the top of the second. Ron Santo, the Cubbies cleanup hitter, steps in against Gibby, and that's going to be patient and a fly out to left field. So Santo gets under that. Brock drifts over easily to take that one in. Cardinals, a lot of speed in the outfield. Not going to get much in the gaps on them. 6, and that's going to be tough. And Willie Smith does not hit lefties at all, so he's going to go out if Gibby does. That's a ground ball down to second base. So 2 outs, and Gibson has set down the first 5 Cubs he's faced. Al Spanky Spangler steps in play result, and that will be a fly out to left field. So Brock, 2 chances this inning, and the Cubbies 1, 2, 3 again. We head to the bottom of the second inning, no score. Tim McCarver. Deion Sanders' favorite announcer steps in, and 9. It's going to be tough, and 78 will be a ground ball down to second base. Beckert whips that over to Smith, 1 down. Mike Shannon, next batter for the Cards. And it's going to be a tough result from Gibby, and Gibson gets him looking. Slider on the outside corner. Sit down, Mike Shannon. 2 away for the Cards in the bottom of the second. And Julian Javier steps in, second baseman. Tough again, and this is going to be a ground ball down to Kessinger. Whips it over to Smith, and the Cardinals go down 1-2-3 in the second. So we have the pitcher's duel we hoped for the first time out shaping up at this point. And after saying that, I'm sure an offensive eruption is on the way. Randy Hundley steps in. That's going to be a drive into right field, and coming in to take that is Pinson, 1 down. Dangerous Don Young, the Cubs center fielder. Better known for his defense, actually. And 5, that's going to be Patient, and 71 be a ground ball down to second base. And Javier whips that over to Torrey, 2 down. And finally, Fergie himself steps in. Fergie, he helped himself a lot in the first outing against Gibson, and not going to be the case here, as Fergie, 3 straight pitches, and back to the bench he goes, 3 up, 3 down. Gibby with the strikeout, and we head to the bottom of the third. Still no score in this one. Maxwell up against Jenkins, and it's going to be a defensive check. Go to the fast action cards. It'll be a range check on the shortstop, and Kessinger has a range of B. So 33 on the die, and that just gets under his glove. Is single into left field. And Maxwell gets the Cardinals on the board, and stepping up is Brock. Brock's going to lay down a sacrifice bunt. Or Gibson, sorry. And Gibson is an A bunter, so we will have, in this case, a successful sacrifice hit on 7-99 and 70. And I only need 1 die here. That's to the third baseman. So moving to second base is Maxwell and Gibson. The sacrifice hit, and the Cardinals are in business. Runner in scoring position. Back to the top of the order. Lou Brock steps in. 1 down. Maxwell gets his lead at second. The pitch from Fergie. And 6. That's going to be tough. And Brock inside jams him up, swinging him at strike 3. So 2 outs now, and Fergie looking to pitch himself out of this minor jam. Maxwell gets the lead. He will score on a base hit here. The pitch to Flood. And tough, 14, and Flood blown away. Can't catch up to the high heat, and Special K for breakfast. The Cardinals get 1 hit and leave a runner in scoring position as we head to the top of the 4th inning. Still no score in this one. And it's what the fans would expect or hope for when these two hook up. Gibson, that's going to be a patient result, and Kessinger is going to drive that one into the gap, and Kessinger rounds first, heading to second base. Here comes the throw. He slides, and he is safe. The Cubbies' first hit of the game, a leadoff double by Kessinger. And now the Cubs in business in the top of the 4th. Gibson flowers at Beckert. Here comes the pitch. 8, tough. And 42. It's going to be a ground ball down to third base. And Kessinger will hold at second as Shannon takes care of the putout. Sweet swinging Billy Williams, the heart of the Cubs order coming up now. Williams digs in, and defensive check for Gibby. And this will be a range check on second base, and Javier is a D, not good, 58. And just gets to that. Whips it over to first base to nip Billy Williams. Moving to third, however, is Kessinger. So Javier, it's about the extent of his range on that one. Makes a nice play, 2 down. And Gibson looking to get out of his jam as well. 4, patient, 14. And that is going to be a walk for Santo. Gibby's first of the game. So runners at the corner, still 2 away, and Willie Smith steps in. 6, and 6 will be tough. 34 against the righty, and Smith totally overmatched Gibson. 4 pitches, 3 strikes, and 3 outs. So the Cubbies get a hit, leave a couple, but we head to the bottom of the 4th, and there's still no score in this one. Next up for the Redbirds is Veda Pinson, and that's going to be a tough result and a ground ball down to second base. Beckert takes care of that. 1 away. Jolton Joe Torre, he flew out to left field his first time up, and it's going to be a ballpark check, and in Busch Stadium that will be a in-play result. And Torre, that's going to be a ground ball back to Fergie, and Fergie nods as Torre trots to first base, whips it over to Willie Smith, and there are 2 down. Torre and Fergie exchange pleasantries as Torre heads back to the dugout. No harsh words, though. And Jenkins, tough. 56 to McCarver, and that's going to be a ground ball down to Kessinger. Ranges to his right, whips it over to first base, and the Cardinals go down in order again. So we are through 4, still no score. Heading to the top of the 5th inning now. And in real life, the Cardinals were able to edge this one out 3-1 behind Gibson. And thus far, shaping up to be a very close game, just like that one. Patient result, 28 to Al Spanky Spangler, and he's going to draw a base on balls. Gibby's second of the day. Randy Hundley steps in. Spangler's got the lead at first base. Here comes a pitch. And Patient again. And Hundley is just going to cue that off the end of the bat, goes opposite way. And a soft blooper into right field. The runner on first advances 1 base, runner on second scores. So Spangler's going to stop at second. The Cubs have a little bit of a rally going as dangerous Don Young steps up, and Fergie might be in a position to help himself depending on what Young does here. Looking to bear down is Gibson, and that's not good. Defensive check. It's going to be an error on the shortstop. And Maxwell is a 3, but a roll of 3, and that is going to be an error. And the error check on that, infield and pitcher will be 1 base, so E6, and the sacks are loaded for Fergie. And Gibson now started off strong in this one, and he is on the verge of imploding. We'll see how his temperament holds up as Fergie steps in. Bases loaded, nobody out. Here comes a pitch. And 9, tough, swing and a miss. Strike 3, so a big strikeout for Gibson, but still not out of the woods. Bases loaded, 1 down, top of the order. Kessinger doubled his last time up. Here comes a pitch. And for Patient, and Gibson is going to walk in the first run of the game. Unbelievable. So second walk this inning, and coming in to score is the first walk of the inning, Spangler. And the RBI for Kessinger. Cubs take a 1-0 lead. Still only 1 out. Sacks jammed for Beckert. And 12, wheelhouse, Beckert swings, and it's going to be a hard single. Drives it hard. And that is into short left field, and runner on first advances 1 base, runner on second scores. So that is going to be a 2-run single by Beckert, and Gibson beside himself now. As coming in to score, and one of these runs will be unearned. Hundley and I screwed up my score sheet, sorry. Hundley and Don Young. I had Jim Qualls in there. So Cubbies take a 3-0 lead, and a big hit by Beckert. And that might be all the room that Fergie needs in this one. He's been pitching very well. Billy Williams steps up. Still only 1 down. Runners on first and second. And 3, defense, and Gibson Going to be a range check on a third baseman, and that's Mike Shannon, who is an F. That is as bad as you can get. That will be a hit. And the hit result, third base will be a single, runners advance one. So the bases remain loaded, and a big inning here for the Cubs. And there's going to be some action down in the bullpen for the Cardinals. And the southpaw Joe Horner and the righty Mudcat Grant are both up and throwing. As Ron Santos steps up to the dish, and he has a chance to blow this wide open. Still only one down. Here comes a pitch from Gibson. Tough. And that is going to be a ground ball down to second base. 8 is outside of the double play rating of Santo, equal to Gibby. So we will go to the 2-die-10, and 45 or less is going to be a double play, and they can't get it done. So another run scores, another unearned run, as that would have been the third out. So coming in to score is Kessinger. Over to third goes Beckert, and Williams erased at second base, 4-6, fielder's choice, and an RBI for Santo. So 2 down now, and 2 of the 4 runs that have crossed the plate in this inning are unearned as Willie Smith steps in. Gibson looking to get out of this, and patient, and that will be a ground ball down to second base. The inning is over, but the Cubbies send 9 men to the plate. 3 hits, a couple of walks, a very costly error, and that generates 4 runs. And again, 2 of which are unearned. So we head to the bottom of the 5th inning. Cubbies 4, Cards 0. And this happened to Gibby in the first matchup between these two in the last outing in this replay. Going along fine, and the big inning did him in. And in play, that's going to be a fly out by Shannon to left field. And sweet swinging Billy Williams comes in to put that away. So for Fergie, still on pace to have a great game, 66 and in play, and that's going to be a fly ball to, ground ball down to second base. Beckert with that, whips it to first. Willie Smith gloves it, 2 down. Shortstop Dal Maxville up. And 5 will be a patient result, and 25 Maxville is going to draw the 2-out base on balls, and he has been one of the few bright spots for the Cardinals offensively. They're going to let Gibby hit away right now with 2 down. And 3, tough, 37, struck him out. So Fergie comes back and gives Gibson a little bit of his own medicine. No runs, no hits, no errors, 1 left, and we're heading to the 6th inning. Cubbies 4-0 on the strength of a huge 5th inning. Gibson now looking to get back on track, and that'll be a patient result, and Spangler drives that into right field. Coming in to take it is Pinson, 1 down. And Spangler started that onslaught in the 5th with a walk. He is retired here as Randy Hundley steps up to the dish. And 10 in play, and it's going to be a fly ball into center field. Kurt Flood moves a few steps to his right, gloves it, and 2 down. Dangerous Don Young reached on an error by shortstop Maxville and scored last inning. 3 and another defensive check. And error check on the third baseman, and Mike Shannon is 2. And 1 to 56, and it is 50. That will be another error. 2nd for the Cardinals, and 1 base. So Shannon can't come up with that, and Young putting a little hoodoo. That's twice he's reached on errors. And Fergie comes up. Fergie struck out his last time up. Here comes a pitch, and patient 28, and that's going to be a single for Fergie. And over to third base goes Don Young, and Jenkins once again keeping the inning alive, and he has had actually a fairly good replay at the plate. Top of the order, Kessinger, and here comes a pitch. Tough, 50, swing, And drives that down the third base line. Shannon up with it, whips it over to first base, and the side is retired. But not before the Cubbies threaten again. An error and a base hit. They leave two, however, and we head to the bottom of the sixth inning. Still 4-0. All Cubs at this point. Lou Brock, top of the order for the Cards. Fergie digs in play. It's going to be a ground ball down to Kessinger, and Kessinger's got to hurry to get Brock. Whips it over and nips him by a step. So the speedy Lou Brock is retired. That brings up Curt Flood, baseball's initial free agent, the man who opened the floodgates to some of these great salaries that players enjoy now. And that's going to be in play, and Flood, nothing to enjoy there. A two-hopper back to Jenkins, and whips that over to Smith, 2 down. Vada Pinson up next, and Fergie is on one of his hot streaks. He has set down now 10 Cardinals in a row, actually 11 since a leadoff single by Dal Maxwell back in the third. So 7, and that's going to be in play, and 51 to Pinson, and that's going to be a ground ball down to third base, and up with that is Santo. A long throw across the diamond, sides retired, 3 up, 3 down. Heading to the 7th inning. And Cubbies holding a comfortable 4-0 lead. And Gibson, both Mudcat Grant and Joe Horner are ready to go in the bullpen. So that'll be a patient result to Glenn Beckert. And Beckert, he's going to ground that down to shortstop. Maxwell whips it across the diamond. Torrey gloves it, 1 down. And, you know, again, if you watched the last game, these two hooked up. Same issues for Gibson, going fine, and 1 bad inning. And this is going to be a ballpark check for Billy Williams. And 32, that's going to be Wheelhouse Williams. Gets a fastball down the middle, takes a big rip, and that ball is gone. Sweet swinging Billy Williams drives a Bob Gibson fastball into the 4th row in the left field bleachers, and the Cubbies extend the lead to 5-0. And that might be it for Gibson. And he is furious, and they are going to make a pitching change. So coming on now for the Cardinals will be Mudcat Grant, and he will look to stop the hemorrhaging. Bob Gibson, again, a second successive poor outing, or at least an outing that was marred by 1 terrible inning against the Cubbies. He's driven from the box after 6 1/3, gave up 6 hits, 5 runs. 3 of those runs were earned, walked 3, struck out 4, and gave up the long ball to Williams. So Santos steps in now, and here comes a pitch. It's going to be in play by Grant, and that's going to be a single right back up the middle. So Santo greets the new Cardinals pitcher with a base knock, and Willie Smith up. And Smith, that'll be in play, and 26. And Smith's going to single as well. It's going to be a soft blooper into short right field. Runner on first advances 1 base. So the Cubbies need to have another big inning, this time at the expense of Mudcat Grant. Al Spanky Spangler steps in tough. And 56, that's going to be a ground ball down to shortstop. And 5, that's in both pitcher and hitter's double play range, as Spangler is exactly a 5. So he gets out of the inning with the crisp 6-4-3 double play. But the Cubbies strike again. 3 hits, 1 run, 1 left. And we head to the 7th inning stretch. Cubbies holding a 5-0 lead. And Fergie to face Joe Torre. Let's see if it's 1, 2, 3 strikes. Are you out? Here comes a pitch from Jenkins. 11 is going to be a defensive check, however. So we don't get to sing at the old ball game. That'll be an error check on shortstop, where Kessinger is a 5. He is very good, but an 8 will be an E6. And actually that is going to be off his glove, and that will be a +1. So Joe Torre down to second base on the throwing error by Kessinger. And Cardinals looking to get on the board, and Fergie looks unfazed and tells Kessinger it's all right. Steps in, and here comes a pitch to McCarver. Ballpark, and that is going to be a wheelhouse result. So McCarver, 1-21, and this lead is smaller. It's not going to be that. 49 will be a fly ball to left field, and he got a big cut. Just got under it, though, and going back to the track is Lou Brock. Or, I'm sorry, sweet swinging Billy Williams. And one down for Mike Shannon. Here comes a pitch. And tough. Fergie, fastball, swing and a miss, high heat. Shannon back to the dugout, 2 down. So Fergie not letting the error by Kessinger affect him. Comes back strong. 2 down, Julian Javier up, and 5 will be a patient result. That's going to be a ground ball down to Kessinger. Kessinger, smooth with this one, whips it over to Smith, and the side is retired. So Jenkins' streak of consecutive batters set down is broken by the error, but still no runs, no hits. The error, 1 man left. We head to the 8th inning, and the Cubbies holding a comfortable 5-0 lead. As Mudcat Grant starts his 2nd inning of work against Randy Hundley. And that'll be a ballpark check, and 34 for the right-hander, or against the right-hander, and that's Wheelhouse Hundley. He has had a good season so far with a long ball, and that's a no-doubter. Kiss it goodbye, stairway to heaven. Randy Hundley gives out the Led Zeppelin treatment, and the Cubbies extend their lead to 6-0. And Hundley leading all Cubbies in home runs in this replay. Go back at the end of this, I'll tabulate the offensive stats and see where everyone lands. Stepping up now, and another ballpark check, and this is going to be in play. Dangerous Don Young, and Dangerous Don Young, a pop out to first base. Drifting into foul territory, Joe Torre puts that away, and 2 down, or 1 down. Fergie Jenkins, a single and 2 strikeouts in this one, and that'll be tough. And Mudcat Grant says another strikeout for you. Swing and a miss. Fergie back to the dugout, 2 outs. Top of the order, Don Kessinger. He has struck out, doubled, walked, and grounded out to third base. 5th time up, Mudcat Grant delivers. And another defensive check. Cardinals' defense has been abysmal today. That will be a defensive rare play. I don't think that has come up at all in this replay. In fact, I know it hasn't. All right, so we will roll the 2-die-6 for the defensive rare play. And 11, fielder makes a highlight reel catch while falling into the dugout stands. Batter out, runners hold. Check injury for fielder. So on that, let's do the injury. Have to get the fielder first of all. All right, we'll just do a 1d10. And 0 would be the catcher, we'll say. Actually, we'll go by position, so it needs to be 1, 2, 9. So center fielder, and that will be Flood going up to the wall, and injury check for Flood. And he will stay in the game. All right, and that retires the side. The injury chart did not say who makes the play on that. So, I had to improvise a little bit, but the Cubbies are retired, and a leadoff home run by Randy Hundley has extended the lead. It is now 6-0 Cubs as we head to the bottom of the 8th inning. And Fergie looking to wrap this one up in style. 9, going to be tough. Maxwell, swing and a miss. Fergie with a hard slider. Outside corner of the plate. Maxwell froze. Goes down looking, and that brings up the pitcher. And we're going to have a pinch hitter for the Cardinals. So Vic Davalillo will step in, and Fergie can record second out of the inning. And wheelhouse, Davalillo swings and drives a sharp single into right field. So the pinch hitter comes through. And the Cardinals just looking to get on the board at this point, and that is the first hit against Gibby since the 3rd inning, and only the 3rd he's given up this game. So Fergie pitching masterfully today as Lou Brock top of the order, Davalillo at first. And Patient and Gibson, that's going to be a fly ball into center field. Coming in to take that is Young, and back to first goes Davalillo, 2 down. Kurt Flood, who made the highlight reel catch in the last inning to retire Kissinger, steps in. And ballpark, that's going to be an in-play result. So Flood looking to keep a little pride rally alive here, 52. And that's going to be a ground ball down to 3rd base. Santo has that, whips it over to Smith. And side is retired. So base hit, first since the 3rd, but the Cardinals can't do anything with it. We're heading to the top of the 9th, still 6-0 Cubbies. And Glenn Beckert steps in, and new pitcher, Joe Horner is the new pitcher for the Cardinals, a left-hander. And 9, that's going to be tough, and 32 against the southpaw. And that's going to be a single for Beckert. So Beckert starts the 9th off in style, base hit. And sweet swinging Billy Williams steps to the plate. Williams had a good day at the plate, a single and a solo home run. And 6, that's going to be tough, and sweet swinging Billy Williams, a fly ball, actually no, a ground ball down to second base, and 6 in the double play range for both pitcher and batter. So 4-6-3 on the double play, and Williams changes another promising rally into 2 outs. Ron Santo steps up, base is empty, here comes the pitch, and it's going to be a fly ball to center field, and Flood, a lot easier catch this time. So the Cubbies are done in the 9th. 1 hit, no runs, no errors. And we head to the last frame. And Cardinals, an insurmountable deficit. 6-0 Cubbies. Vada Pinson leads it off. And that's going to be a tough result. And Pinson grounds that down to Santo. 1 quick out. So Fergie still fresh. 3 hits is all he's given up this game. 3 hits and a single base on balls. And 5, that'll be Patient, and make that 2 as Joe Torre draws a 1-out walk. So still no action in the Cubbies bullpen. Fergie looking to finish this out, and 6, that's going to be tough, and Tim McCarver, tough to strike out. Foul tip, but held on by Hundley, and that is strike 3. So 2 down. And the small pocket of Cubbies fans on their feet here. The Cardinals fans are leaving the building if they've not already left. Here comes a pitch. And 8, 66 is tough, and that's going to be a ground ball down to Beckert. Candy Hop whips it over to Smith, and ball game is over. So the Cubbies took Bob Gibson to the woodshed in this one. Final line score for the Cubs, 6 runs on 10 hits, no errors. Cardinals, no runs, 3 hits, a couple errors. 1 was very costly as it contributed to the meltdown Gibson had in the 5th when the Cubbies played at 4. So that is it. Fergie and the Cubbies, the 2nd straight game against the Cardinals and Bob Gibson, and they take them both. This one by a score of 6-0. And you've got to go for player of the game in this one. Couple of good offensive showings by the Cubbies. Hundley had a couple of hits and a home run, scored twice. Williams had a home run, but Fergie was dominating in this one, gave up only 3 hits, and he walked 1 and struck out a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Walked 2 and struck out 7. And on the strength of the 3-hitter, the player of the game is the main focus of this replay, Fergie Jenkins, the pride of Chatham, Canada. So start 21 in the books. We will be back later with start 22. Next up on the channel will be a Glory Days boxing bout. And in that one, we're going to whip out a couple of fighters that we have not showcased before. And I'll have to decide on that. A possible Jerry Cooney fight. We'll see how that goes. And then after that, we will have the rematch, the controversial 4th round stoppage of Marciano of Jack Dempsey, or by Marciano of Jack Dempsey, and a blue 1D20 was actually a 1D12 in that fight. So the commission has stepped in, ordered a rematch. The title is currently vacant and upheld. So Marciano and Dempsey will get it on for the Glory Days Boxing Heavyweight Champion. And of course, Soccer Blast Tottenham replay on the horizon as well. And coming up, probably the weekend of Thanksgiving, we will have a very special replay of the Bucky F. and Dent game, 1978 Red Sox and Yankees. And that will feature the prototype in development Glory Days baseball engine, which I've made a few changes to the card layout since the original broadcast of that of the 08 Merkle game, Cubs and Giants. So want to do that just based on watching the video. I saw some things, not with the mechanics of the game, there's no change to that, but some things that I wanted to change on the flow of the cards just to make it a little bit more appealing, which stood out to me after I watched the video. But that's what's up next for the channel. As always, thank you for watching, and please support our friends of the channel. A lot of great YouTubers out there doing gaming. ID Gesture, Al Red Sox fan, Chris Strat-o-matic Delaware, Dave at Baseball Demos, Earl and Earl at Tabletop Baseball Plus, Clinton Parks, Eric at Higher Ground Gaming, and a whole bunch more, DPSH Commissioner. Please support them, and thanks for watching. And until next time, keep swinging for the fences. Have a great day, everyone.